We're going to start off with the women. We're going to go to Wuhan, and we're going to have Snize and James with us. We wouldn't have anybody else when we're talking tennis. So, James, Snize, how are we, lads?
All right, not too bad, Flash. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Snize, you well?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
So, how long's Bianca going to be?
on.
How long's Bianca going to be out for? Was she just having a rest or what?
Well, until she deems
Do you want to go and get her
herself
from the
fit
back
to
room,
continue.
Slice? Just ask her what she's
Yeah.
thinking.
Don't start us off. It's a family show, James. A family show. So listen, let's kick straight off. We're going to go with outrights in Wuhan. We've got Belinda Bencic outright at 17. Although, James, you're telling me you can get 21.
Yeah, so currently the market's just gone back up. The guess based on prices before was 17. She was 21 yesterday before the market's closed. They've reopened now and they're at 20 with Unibet. 17 still fine, but Bencic was my article tip for this week, and she was 21 when I wrote the article originally.
Okay, Snize, why did you go for Bencic as well?
Well, so we are indeed in China. The Asian swing is now starting for real, and this Wuhan tournament is quite a large one, about $3 million in prize money. A lot of the big names are in attendance, and I went with Bencic because she has a very good path to the final and to the title here. She's been drawn in the first quarter, which contains Ashley Barty and Sofia Kenin as the big seeds. Barty hasn't been great for quite some time now, and is vulnerable. Sofia Kenin is coming off a title in was it Guangzhou?
Was it not Guangzhou?
One of the tournaments last week, anyway.
Yeah.
So I doubt she'll be able to go deep with back-to-back tournaments. And looking at the rest of the quarter, the pathway looks wide open. Bencic is known as a giant killer. Played very well at the U.S. Open. Hasn't played since, so she should be fit and ready to go. Only fell in a very close match to eventual champion Andreescu. So yeah, I really like her in that top section of the draw. Looking likely like she'd probably face Halep or maybe Sabalenka in the semifinals. Not too worried there. So she looks like she has a great path.
James, Snize mentions Barty. Do you think she tries to hit the ball too hard and should just maybe mix her game up a little bit?
Possibly. So I mean, Barty she obviously was the model of consistency until she had issues with injury that I think have kind of carried over here. I'm not sure exactly what I would say with her. I think when she's on song, I wouldn't want to do a lot with her game. And I think right now it's more of a fitness issue than anything else. And often these fitness issues go on a lot longer than anyone could guess. And they often just get worse. So it'd be interesting to see how she plays this week. As Snize says, she really hasn't been her best recently. So we'll see how she plays.
Snize, another recent winner you're putting up on the outrights, Pliskova. She beat, obviously, Petra Martic in the final when we was all on at 12 and 14s. Pliskova at 9 seems quite a generous price.
Yeah, I mean, Karolina Pliskova is just... These are the kind of tournaments that you want to be going to the Pliskova, to the elder. Or not the elder, the bigger, the larger Pliskova, I should say, because they are obviously sisters. Her younger, or her twin sister is not good. But anyways, despite her slam struggles, Pliskova really excels at the Premier level. She won recently in the last tournament, and she's won 8 Premier titles now. And she's been drawn in the bottom quarter. And we have Petra Kvitova there as the big looming threat, but she hasn't played. Obviously, since that forearm injury that has her sidelined for a little bit. She's going to face Amanda Anisimova in the immediate future, playing her first tournament since her father tragically passed away. And yeah, just in her section, there are a lot of power hitters, but inconsistent ones, like Sloane Stevens is also one. And Pliskova is just so consistent on serve and just so powerful that gonna have to redline your game against her, and many of these players in her meeting section can't do that. And obviously, she's one of the best and most consistent players on tour. So yeah, just looking at the draw, the only other threat I could see it would be Elina Svitolina, but she's had a knee issue and actually withdrew from the last tournament. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes here. So the pathway looks pretty nice for Pliskova to at least reach the finals. So yeah, comfortable with betting her outright.
James, obviously we're still hard court season. The FUD on the knees and the back, it's going to take its toll. What type of player normally wins this type of tournament?
Yeah, so one of the things I commented on in the article, which I kind of realized as I was writing it, the outright article for Wuhan, is that actually there's tons of players who have just retired or have just withdrawn. Keys withdrew from Wuhan last night. So I definitely feel like there are two main kinds of players who are likely to do well. The first ones are the very economical players. The classic of this is someone like Federer, where you basically have a player who's able to win a lot of matches without seemingly expending anywhere near as much energy as a lot of other players would. And then the other kind of player is someone who's a bit fresher. Maybe they've not had the form most of this year, but they've got latent capabilities. So someone like Karen Khachanov is a good example on the men's side of someone who definitely should be thinking right now, look, if I can find a bit of form, I'm going to be able to be a lot fresher than someone like, say, Medvedev, who's had such a phenomenal run that he will be getting worn down. So, yeah, I'd be looking at one of those two kinds of players and generally looking for them to start doing something. For example, Stevens, she won her first match this week. She's not someone who I would, want to be opposing when she's in form, but she's been awful. So you might be looking at players like this and watching how they're playing, their immediate form, taking a chance on them if they are starting to play better.
Couldn't agree more, and I've wrote down here, Snize, that I'd want a player who's light on their feet, who just basically doesn't go FUD right the way through their body. Does Simona Halep, does she come into that category?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Simona Halep is one of the fittest players on tour, an incredible counterpuncher. She enjoys the conditions here. She made a semifinal here in 2016. She's been upset now a couple of times and does come in here off that ankle injury. But if she is fit, she has a great chance. She has a really soft draw, and really only Sabalenka, the main threat for her to storm to the final, because Kiki Bertens has split with her coach Sluiter, who's still at home, has been woeful, and those are really the big obstacles there. So I think that Halep will be able to put together a strong run here, make at least the semifinals, and then hopefully Bencic eliminates her.
So Simona Halep to get to the semi-final at 2.25. That's one bet. What about Sloane Stephens just on a single bet against Wang Yafan?
Yeah, this is one of the bets that I have written about for an article that will be up either tonight or tomorrow on the Oddsmarket site. And I've actually been on going against Stephens a lot this season and a lot recently, because as James mentioned earlier, she's been woeful. She's been super inconsistent. She is 22-17 on the year, but really all of her good work came on clay, which isn't really what you'd expect from Stephens, who is a hard court player primarily. The 2017 US Open champion went 1-4 during the North American hard court swing, which really should ring the alarm bells, because that's a part of the season where she usually does her best. Won a title last year, won a title in 2017, but was woeful. But she's been reunited with former coach Kamau Murray pre-US Open, and they've had a few weeks now to work together. He was the one who led her to the title in 2017. And she was able to finally break her losing streak now. She got over a player that she's lost 2 straight matches against in Shuai Zhang in her last round in straight sets, which really should give her a confidence boost. She has nothing to lose here, a lot of points to gain, and just try to set the season right, which hasn't been a good one. Yafan Wan, on the other hand, she hasn't really done much since spring, if I'm being honest. She won her maiden title in Acapulco, but since then, she's been eliminated in her first match in 10 of the 13 subsequent tournaments. She hasn't really been in form until Seoul last week. Then struggled a bit after quick turnaround from Seoul. Lost the first set against Lauren Days, but came back. But I just think that this is a huge opportunity for Stevens to finally get over the hump and get some wins together. Yafan just lacks the power or the veteran wit that you need to take one of the best defenders onto her, out of her game. As much was shown to us, they faced in Wimbledon, and the Sloane Stevens demolished her 6-love, 6-2. Obviously, playing at home and on hard court is going to favor the Chinese player a bit more, but I still think this is Stevens' match to lose.